For the last 20 years or so, the rules for getting found online were pretty straightforward. Just get to the top of Google. Simple, right? Well, that whole game is changing, and it's changing faster than anybody really expected. Today, we're going to dive into this massive shift, moving away from what we all know as search engine optimization to something completely new.
I want you to just sit with this question for a second, because this isn't some far-off hypothetical. AI answer engines, things like Google's AI Overviews or Perplexity, they're becoming the new front door to information. See, they don't just give you a list of links anymore. They cook up an answer for you right there on the page. And that changes absolutely everything. And look, this isn't some prediction about the future. It's happening right now. Millions of people are getting their questions answered directly by an AI. And a lot of the time, they're not clicking on a single link. Your goal isn't just to be on the list anymore. Your new goal is to be in the answer itself. The whole battlefield for online visibility has just moved.
So, okay, how do we adapt? We obviously need a totally new playbook. And that brings us to this new concept, moving from SEO to GEO. That's Generative Engine Optimization. It's a completely different way of thinking about how your content gets discovered and, more importantly, trusted online.
So what exactly is GEO? Well, you can think of it as the art and science of making your content so clear, so authoritative, and so trustworthy that AI models look at it and say, yep, that's the good stuff, and then use it as a source for the answers they generate. It's not about ranking anymore. It's about becoming the reference.
Now, putting these two side by side is where it really clicks. With traditional SEO, the big prize was always the click, right? You used keywords and backlinks to climb up those rankings. But with Geo, the prize is the citation. It's got using your authority in the context you provide to become a trusted source that the AI actually relies on to form its answers. The whole game is shifted from chasing traffic to building trust.
And that leads us to the million-dollar question. How on earth do you become a trusted source for an algorithm? What are these AI engines actually looking for? Well, lucky for us, some new research is starting to give us a pretty clear roadmap.
It pretty much boils down to these three core pillars. You need content that has a flawless, machine-readable structure. You have to demonstrate proven authority and expertise, and you've got to signal that your information is always fresh and up to date. So let's break down what each of those really means.
First up, structure. An AI doesn't read a web page like you and I do. It parses it, kind of like a robot scanning a blueprint. This means using a really clean hierarchy. One main heading, the H1, and then logical subheadings. It also means using something called structured data, which is basically a special vocabulary you add to your site's code to tell the AI exactly what your content is about. You're basically spoon-feeding it, removing all the guesswork for the machine.
Okay, next pillar, authority. Trust isn't just given, it has to be earned. You show your authority by citing primary sources, especially from super trustworthy places like government or university websites. You back up what you say with hard numbers, with actual data. And you include quotes from recognized experts. It's not about just saying you're an expert, it's about proving it with evidence that can be checked.
And finally, freshness. In a world that moves this fast, old information is basically untrustworthy information. You have to signal that your content is current. And you do this in two ways. First, with timestamps that your human readers can see, and second, with machine-readable dates in the code for the AI to find. Regularly updating your content with new facts shows that it's a living, breathing, reliable resource.
Now, this isn't all just theory. A recent academic study took a look at over 1,000 web pages to figure out what actually gets cited by AI. So let's look at the data and see what they found.
The results really show you the payoff here. The study created something they called a Geo score, based on those three pillars we just talked about. And what'd they find? Pages with a high Geo score had a massive 78% citation rate across different AI engines. That's huge. Quality isn't just a suggestion, it's a powerful predictor of success.
This chart right here really tells the whole story. Let me just walk you through it. That vertical line, the one going up, that's the Geo score, so how well structured and authoritative a page is. The horizontal line going across is how many times that page got cited by an AI. And just look at that trend. It's a clear upward slope. It's a direct correlation. The higher the quality of the page, the more likely it is to be used as a source. This is the proof that Geo isn't just a good idea, it's what actually works.
And what's really fascinating is that not all AI engines are playing by the same rules, at least not yet.
This chart shows the average geo score for pages that were cited by 3 different AIs. You can see that engines like Brave and Google's AI Overviews are already heavily favoring pages with really high geo scores. They're looking for the best of the best. Perplexity, on the other hand, was a little less picky at the time. But the key takeaway here is that the trend is obvious. The smartest engines are getting better and better at rewarding high-quality, trustworthy content.
So what does all this mean for your strategy? Well, it really demands a fundamental shift in how you think. For years, we've all been focused on discoverability, just being found. Now the new frontier is all about building understanding and credibility. I love this quote because it just nails the new reality. Traditional SEO helps a search engine discover that your page exists, but geo or LLM optimization helps the AI understand what your content actually means, lets it verify your claims, and ultimately lets it trust you enough to present your information as fact.
So, your new goal, your new mission, is to become an authoritative source. This means things like building your brand so that it's a recognized entity in Google's knowledge graph. It means creating original research and data that other people have to cite. And it means being relentlessly consistent and factual everywhere and writing content that clearly and directly answers questions.
As we wrap this up, I want to leave you with one last thing to chew on. We are walking into an era where more and more content is going to be optimized specifically to be understood and repeated by AI. And that leads to a pretty fascinating and maybe a little unsettling question.
I mean, think about it. If an AI's knowledge is built on content that was specifically created for it, we run the risk of creating a massive echo chamber, a kind of spiral of silence, where authentic human-authored knowledge that isn't optimized could just get pushed to the side. It's a huge challenge we're going to have to figure out as we step into this new world. Who gets to be the source of truth? That's the question we all have to start answering now.